The Denver mansion in Ikoyi was big enough to have its own echo. If you sneezed in the living room, your bless you would come back 3 seconds later like an obedient echo from heaven. Billionaire Richard Denver had built the house for comfort, class, and peace. But somehow, when Madame Becky opened her mouth, peace packed its bags and ran away. Clarissa Denver, his only daughter, was nothing like people imagined a billionaire's child to be. No fake accent, no diamond heels clacking across marble floors, and definitely no "do you know who my father is?" attitude. She was calm, soft-spoken, and had a kind of glow that came from contentment, not cosmetics. She loved roasted corn, wore simple jeans, and sometimes helped the driver wash the car just for fun. But in Madame Becky's eyes, all that humility was a disease that needed cure. "Clarissa, you mean to tell me you slept till 6:15? Ah, when my own children are already watching CNN to increase their intelligence." Becky's voice sliced through the house like a whistle. She stood in her faded wrapper, hands on hips, like a general inspecting lazy soldiers. Clarissa blinked, half asleep, clutching her mug of tea. "Good morning, Ma." "Good morning who? Good morning when plates from last night are still in the sink?" Becky barked. Her 2 children, Bisi and Kunle, lounged on the couch like royalty, watching cartoons, their mouths full of cereal that wasn't bought by their mother. "Wash those dishes before I deal with you." Clarissa sighed, rolled up her sleeves, and went straight to the kitchen. It wasn't the first time Madame Becky made her do chores that weren't hers, and honestly, it wouldn't be the last. She could have refused, but deep down, she'd learned something her father always said. Humility doesn't make you small, it makes you unstoppable. So she scrubbed, and as the soap foamed up, her thoughts drifted. When would Dad come home? Mr. Richard Denver had traveled abroad for business. A big oil deal, people said. And in his absence, he'd trusted Becky, his housekeeper of 15 years, to take care of his daughter and the house. What he didn't know was that Becky's loyalty had expired long ago, replaced by pride and envy. Somewhere in her mind, she believed she was the real owner of that house, that she deserved a seat at the billionaire's table, not behind it. By afternoon, Becky's tongue was still working overtime. "You call this clean? My friend, wash that floor again. My reflection is not clear in it yet." Clarissa wanted to laugh. "Ma, are you sure you're not looking for a mirror instead of a floor?" Becky's eyes widened. "You are talking back now? Ha! Your father's mummy has spoiled you. In my days, a girl like you would be kneeling from dawn to dusk." Clarissa smiled slightly, rinsed the mop, and continued cleaning. She'd learned to pick her battles, and this one wasn't worth the fight. Later that evening, she walked past Becky's room and overheard a sharp conversation. "Kunle, that girl has everything. Designer bags, phones, clothes. And she still walks around like she's a saint," Becky hissed. Kunle chuckled. "Mummy, what will we do?" "Don't worry, I have plans. One by one, she will learn that in this house, Becky rules." Clarissa froze outside the door. She knew Becky was cruel, but plotting? That was new. She quietly tiptoed away, deciding to stay quiet and watch. After all, the truth always showed up like a stubborn guest. You couldn't keep it out forever. The next morning, Becky struck her first blow. Clarissa walked into the living room, only to see Becky holding her favorite designer bag, a gift from her late mother. "Ah, Clarissa, good news," Becky announced, waving the bag. "I've decided to donate this to charity." "Donate what?" "That's mine, Ma," Clarissa protested. "Yours? You the small girl that can't even fry plantain properly? Don't be selfish. People in Balagun Market need this more than you." Before Clarissa could speak again, Becky strutted out with the bag. Clarissa's eyes burned, not from the loss of the bag, but from the disrespect that came with it. Still, she didn't complain to her father. She didn't want to seem like a tattletale. Maybe, she thought, patience would fix it. Spoiler, patience didn't fix it. A week later, disaster hit like thunder on a sunny day. Becky's son Kunle, the self-proclaimed future pilot who couldn't even drive straight, took one of Richard Denver's car without permission. He wanted to test it. He ended up testing the lamppost down the street instead. The car's front looked like it had been punched by a bulldozer. When Richard flew back home, furious and red-eyed, Becky and her children put on an Oscar-worthy performance. "I told Clarissa not to drive," BC cried, fake tears. "Sir, I tried to stop her," Becky added, clutching her wrapper dramatically. "But she said, 'My father's car is my toy.'" Clarissa's jaw dropped. "That's not true. I didn't even—" "Enough," Richard's voice boomed. "Clarissa, you've disappointed me." And just like that, the judgment came down. "You will go to Ondo State, manage the small cocoa farm there. Let's see if work can teach you responsibility." Becky's grin stretched like a cat who just stole milk. Clarissa's heart cracked a little, but she said nothing. She packed her things quietly. As she climbed into the car that would take her to Ondo, Becky whispered, "Bye-bye, Madam Billionaire. Don't forget to pluck cocoa with style." Clarissa smiled faintly. "It's fine, Ma. Don't forget. Justice doesn't need a GPS. It always finds home." Becky blinked, not sure what that meant, but Clarissa knew. Life was just turning the page, and the next chapter, her chapter, was about to begin. The road to Ondo felt longer than heartbreak, watching the city fade into a blur of trees and red earth. The driver's radio played an old song about patience and destiny, the kind of song you don't understand until life humbles you. When she arrived, the farm her father sent her to looked more like an abandoned playground for mosquitoes. The cocoa trees were tired, the workers had disappeared, and the small farmhouse leaned like it had lost hope. Clarissa stood there, suitcase in hand, wearing a face that said, "So this is it." But she wasn't the type to cry for long. She tied her hair back, rolled up her sleeves, and said to herself, "If this is where I'll start again, then I'll start well." Her first night was rough. The generator groaned like an old man and then gave up completely. She ate gari and groundnuts by candlelight, swatting mosquitoes like they owed her money. But somewhere between the bites and the buzzes, she whispered, "God, if you can see me, please just turn this pain into purpose." The next morning, she woke up before sunrise. The air was cool and smelled like fresh rain and cocoa leaves. She wore her old jeans, grabbed a hoe, and walked into the field. That's when she saw him, an elderly man in a faded blue shirt, humming to himself as he inspected the trees. His beard was white like snow, his eyes kind but sharp. "Good morning, sir," Clarissa said politely. "Morning, young lady. You must be the new farmer," he replied, smiling. Clarissa laughed softly. "I'm not really a farmer. I was sent here." The man chuckled. "People who say that usually become the best ones. Name's Mr. Favor. You can call me Baba Favor." From that moment, her story began to change. Baba Favor had worked on cocoa farms all his life. He didn't just know how to grow cocoa, he understood it. He spoke to the trees like they were old friends. "You don't shout at cocoa," he said one morning. "You feed it, you prune it, you thank it. Respect the soil, and it will reward you." Clarissa listened, learned, and worked. Every day, she got stronger. Her hands grew rough, her skin darker, but her spirit brighter. She learned to ferment beans, dry them in the sun, and sort them by color. The first time she sold a small bag of cocoa for 20,000 naira, she almost cried. Not because it was much, but because she had earned it with sweat, not surname. One day, Baba Favor handed her an old notebook. "This," he said, "is my secret." Clarissa opened it. Inside were notes on cocoa export, how to connect with buyers, how to meet standards, how to price for international markets. "Baba, this is gold," she gasped. He smiled faintly. Gold only shines when you clean it. Use it well. From that day, she became obsessed. She spent nights reading, days experimenting, and evenings talking to local traders. Slowly, she began exporting small batches of premium cocoa beans. Word spread. That young woman from the Denver farm knows what she's doing. But success, as they say, never comes quietly. One afternoon, while Clarissa was inspecting her drying racks, a strange car pulled up. A woman stepped out, wearing big sunglasses and a bigger attitude. It was Becky's cousin, Tola, the unofficial family spy. "Ah, Clarissa, so this is where you're hiding," she said, fake smiling. Clarissa frowned. "I'm not hiding, I'm building." Tola laughed. "Building what? Mosquito hotels?" "Don't worry, Becky will be very happy to hear how you're doing." That night, Clarissa couldn't sleep. If Becky was sending spies, something was coming. She kept working harder, determined to make her success too big to hide. Months passed. Her cocoa export company, Golden Earth Farms, started to grow. She registered it officially, designed a logo, and partnered with a young logistics officer who believed in her dream. Within 2 years, her small farm turned into a business worth millions. Even foreign buyers started calling. But one evening, something strange happened. Baba Favor called her into his small hut. "My time is coming," he said calmly. "Don't say that, Baba," she protested. He smiled gently. "Don't cry, my child. When you came here, you were like a seed buried in the dirt. I just gave you sunlight. Now you'll grow beyond this farm." He handed her the old cocoa pendant he wore around his neck. "This was my father's. It will bring you favor too." A week later, Baba Favor passed peacefully in his sleep. Clarissa cried like she had lost her second father. But his words echoed in her mind. "You'll grow beyond this farm." And indeed, she did. By the second anniversary of her arrival in Ondo, she had become one of the youngest cocoa exporters in Nigeria. Her name was in local papers. Her face was on TV. She built schools for farmers' children and helped women learn to trade cocoa too. The same girl who once scrubbed floors was now signing international contracts. But destiny wasn't done yet. One morning, she got a call from Lagos. Her father was back, and he had discovered something that shook his world. "Clarissa," he said on the phone, his voice trembling, "I need you to come home." Clarissa froze. Her heart pounded. She packed her bag, took one last look at the farm that had turned her tears into triumph, and whispered, "Thank you, Baba. The seed you planted has grown." Then she boarded a flight to Lagos, unaware that what awaited her there wasn't just truth. It was justice, served cold and sweet. Lagos air felt different that morning, heavier, hotter, and full of memories Clarissa had tried to forget. The mansion's gates stood tall, like proud guards who didn't recognize her anymore. But Clarissa walked through them anyway, her head high, her steps calm, her heart steady. 2 years ago, she had left that same gate in tears. Now she was returning not as the weeping daughter, but as a woman who had built an empire from soil and sweat. Her father's voice on the phone still echoed in her mind. When she entered the living room, everything looked the same. The shiny floor, the grand chandelier, even Becky's loud voice bouncing through the hallway. Becky didn't know she was back yet. Clarissa smiled faintly. From the balcony above, Mr. Richard Denver appeared. His once proud face now carried the weight of regret. "Clarissa," he whispered, stepping down the stairs slowly. "My daughter." Clarissa ran to him, hugging him tight. For a moment, the world melted away. Then, he pulled back, eyes filled with shame. "I wronged you," he said softly. "I believed lies. I sent my own child away based on the words of a serpent." Clarissa shook her head. It's okay, Daddy. Sometimes we have to lose something precious before we understand its value. Just then, Madame Becky appeared, dressed in her best wrapper, face powdered like she was going for a wedding. The moment her eyes met Clarissa's, the color drained from her face. You're back? Oh yes, Becky, Richard said coldly. And this time, I see clearly. Behind him stood another maid, young, shy, and trembling, the brave maid who had told the truth. She had confessed everything, how Becky sold Clarissa's bag, framed her for the car crash, and fed lies to the billionaire like daily breakfast. Becky stammered, "Sir, please, it's not what it looks like." Richard raised his hand. "Enough. I treated you like family, Becky. I trusted you with my daughter. Yet you betrayed us both." For the first time, Becky's sharp tongue went silent. She dropped to her knees, tears streaming. "Sir, please. I was jealous. I'm sorry." Clarissa looked at her quietly. The same woman who made her scrub floors was now scrubbing the floor with her own tears. Life had a way of turning tables, and this table had spun full circle. "Daddy," Clarissa said softly, "let her speak." Becky looked up, surprised. You'll let me talk?" Clarissa nodded. "Go ahead, say what's on your mind." Becky hesitated, then cried louder. "I was wrong, Clarissa. I thought you were just a spoiled girl who didn't deserve what she had. But I see now. You had something money can't buy, humility. Please forgive me." The room went silent. Even the house seemed to hold its breath. Clarissa sighed. "Becky, you taught me something without knowing it. When you pushed me down, you made me stronger. When you lied against me, you helped me meet truth. And when you called me weak, you made me discover my strength. So yes, I forgive you." Richard looked at her stunned. "You forgive her? After all she did?" Clarissa smiled gently. "Because forgiveness is not a gift to her. It's peace for me." But forgiveness didn't mean foolishness. The next day, Richard called the staff together. "From this day," he announced, "Madame Becky and her children are dismissed from my service." Becky begged, even tried to hold Clarissa's feet. But her time in that mansion had ended. As she left, her daughter BC muttered, "We'll be fine without you people." Clarissa just smiled. "I hope you will. But remember, pride never built a home." Weeks later, news spread across Lagos like Harmattan fire. The billionaire's daughter, who was sent to the village, had turned a cocoa farm into a $1 million company. Business magazines called her the Cocoa Queen of Africa. Even her father's partners now sought her advice. Richard, full of pride and tears, handed over his companies to her. "You've earned this, my daughter," he said. "I can rest easy now." But destiny had one more twist waiting. One afternoon, while driving through Sur-L'air, Clarissa saw a familiar face by a roadside market. Becky. She was carrying a tray of puff-puff on her head, sweat dripping down her face. Clarissa's driver slowed the car. "Ma, should we keep going?" he asked. Clarissa watched Becky carefully. The woman looked older, smaller, and broken, yet still trying to survive. "No," Clarissa said. "Stop here." She stepped out and walked toward Becky. The older woman froze, puff-puff trembling in her hand. "Clarissa," she whispered. Clarissa smiled softly. "How is life treating you, Madame Becky?" Becky burst into tears. "Hard, very hard. I lost everything." Clarissa reached into her bag and handed her an envelope. Becky opened it. Inside was a tenancy agreement. Her eyes widened. You bought the compound I live in?" Clarissa nodded. "Yes, I'm your new landlord. Rent is double." Becky gasped in shock. But before bitterness could rise, Clarissa added gently, "But don't worry, I've also arranged for groceries to be sent to you every month. I forgive you, Becky, but I must never be you." Becky fell to her knees again, sobbing. "God bless you, Clarissa. I don't deserve your kindness." Clarissa smiled faintly. "Neither did I deserve your cruelty. But life doesn't always give what's deserved. Sometimes it gives what's needed." As she walked back to her car, the sun broke through the clouds, painting her face with gold. She didn't just win wealth, she won wisdom. And as her car disappeared down the street, one could almost hear the whisper of destiny. When the humble walk through fire, they don't burn, they shine.